Hey everybody, hey guys, hey girls, hey YouTube, hello internet. It's Sunday afternoon. Well, Sunday mid afternoon. It's about 1 o'clock p.m. where I am Central Time. Um, and it is February the 3rd. This your boy. This your boy Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine. I hope all you guys and girls are doing good. I hope you're surviving and getting some comfort from this. Uh, I'm standing. Well, I'm sitting right now. I'm sitting right now, but I'm still going. I'm still able to get up and go walk my dog and things like that. The grounding's working for the pulse pain during the night, and I'm listening to Dave Case's CD. Things are getting kind of brutal. It's getting kind of brutal. The things that my attackers are doing to my brain, I'm not sure exactly how much damage is going on. But like when I wake up, from a long night's sleep, Dave Case's CD helps me a lot, but I feel kind of mind wiped and just you just don't feel right all around. If other people are getting messed with by these neuro weapons, you just don't feel right. It feels like I'm up, I'm breathing, I'm sitting, I can do these videos. So I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna say a prayer at the beginning of this video, guys. I'm gonna try and make this a short one. That's why I'm not doing a live stream. I think I will do live stream soon though, maybe probably tomorrow or Tuesday. But I wanted to put out go through two articles about AI and neuroweapons, or more specifically AI, and kind of show y'all how media kind of discounts it and makes it kind of like a story like, oh, killer robots and stuff like that, so that people don't really pay attention to it and how dangerous it is. And that we already have like basically a grid set up that the military industrial complex is using to play around with AI. They're playing around with these remote attacks on targeted individuals and trying to, they're using fully automated systems on some targeted individuals, and then some systems where it's manned systems, but they're still using these human beings to teach the AI, and the AI teaches the human operators. So I wanted to go through just some things that prove it in the media, but I want to go ahead and start with a prayer. I know a lot of us, this is just, it goes on and on and on, and we keep fighting, and there's so many warriors out there who keep getting information out. I've got to believe that, that miracles are right around the corner for us. I know that there's so much deceit and lies and corruption in every society nowadays, and the hierarchy really isn't on our side. So some dark days, but at least a lot of the population is aware of these corrupt things and false flags and how bad our government can be. I don't know, so it's just so big sometimes, and I know that just one person making YouTube videos, isn't gonna, change it, but it can at least make some people aware of it. The other TIs making videos that you can make a difference, but this is so big, it's gonna take a lot of the population to get really upset about it, and it's going to take some of the people in the system to actually help us and get some of these things out. And so that's, we keep going on. But let me say a quick prayer, guys. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. In the name of Jesus Christ. Dear God, just thank you for the life that we have, that all of us have, and please give strength and the peace that surpasses all understanding to targeted individuals out there, who are suffering and don't know where to go to get help and don't know exactly what to do to get relief. Please send them miracles, send them strength, and send them courage, and send them, wisdom. Please help me. Please help me to have the right words that they hit the right ears, and that all targeted individuals speaking out about this, and people speaking about real things that are happening in our society that are so bad for all of us, that people listen to them, and we start, seeing these changes in our society and pulling back from wherever we're headed right now. Please just give us all the right words, all those targeted individuals speaking out, even if it's just, leaving comments, or, leaving Facebook posts or whatever. Just give us all the right words. Give us all, just direct our stones that we throw to hit the head of the giant. And give us comfort. Give us strength, Lord. Give us just some peace. Give us peace in our lives too. All right, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ. So I just wanted to go through like 2 articles that I saw. I forget where I found them. It was on a video. It was actually on a Shane Dawson video. He does those conspiracy videos where he's like, these are just conspiracy theories and blah blah. And I'm trying not to make fun of his voice. Shane's cool. I mean, yeah, and I saw that he was talking about this, about some of the, like, Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk and Steve Wozniak and Noam Chomsky. We're talking about the dangers of autonomous systems, of weapon systems that can direct themselves, basically. So AI directed weapon systems. But it's really funny. It's not funny like haha funny. It's funny like, oh my god, facepalm funny. That the title of, and this is from an online web journal, I guess that's what you call it, called Mike, M-I-C, and it says the biggest geniuses in tech are warning us all about killer robots. We should listen. So you see how the mainstream media will kind of detract from, or distract from, people thinking that it's something serious. They're trying to warn us about killer robots, so people read this and they're not too scared, and they're like, oh, killer robots, oh, we're so far away from that. Instead of really calling it like autonomous weapon systems, or something like that, that would tell people, hey, we need to pay attention to this. This is dangerous. And as targeted individuals, we know a lot about AI. I mean, I have a V2K Chatterbox that is a software program, takes things that my attackers have said or are saying in real time, and then puts them into the software, where then it's like a constant conversation in my V2K, which is trying to psychic drive me and tear my mind down and torture my mind and do specific things, so that's an AI, like an automated system like that with the V2K. The V2K Chatterbox would be a kind of AI weapon system, because the way that they're using it on targeted individuals, to pump V2K at their heads, to pump audible voices into their heads. Hold on one second, guys. I'm kind of at the point where I'm just trying to laugh, because like the grounding has been really helping me, so I don't feel like I'm dealing with a ton of like physical pain, but the remote neural manipulation, the constant electromagnetic frequencies going to my head, it's like I wake up and I forget what day it is. Like, I've forgotten what day it is. I'm like, and you know how you kind of wake up with a certain feeling of like, okay, well, it's morning time and I'm gonna get up. It's like my brain is wiped, and like they got a little bit of pulse pain. Like when I went and slept on my leather chair, I slept for like a couple of hours yesterday, like maybe 2 or 3 hours on the leather chair, and I had to get up because on this hip, it felt like somebody was stabbing me with a knife. And what that was remote neural manipulation sending signals to my nervous system in a cluster of nerves on my hip, and it felt like somebody was just, and I had to get up. I couldn't stay laying down because I was trying to like move around to get comfortable, and I couldn't. But it turned into a good thing because I got Dave Case's CD on, got in my bunker, and then slept for a while. but I still, you know, there's so much directed energy being pumped to my head, and you know, who knows what they're doing with their remote neural manipulation, because they're working on certain protocols. But I get up and I just feel like I've been mind wiped. I was like playing a new video game. I totally forgot that I'd even played it. And I'd played it for like 2 or 3 hours the day before, and I was like, oh, I was playing this yesterday. Um, and I even forgot, like I saw this on one of Shane's videos, like about, you know, the AI thing, and I had to write it down. Like I wouldn't have remembered to do a video about this unless I had wrote it down. So now it's not a thing. Like I was doing this thing where I was like, hey guys, I think I'm gonna have to start writing stuff down. Now if I want to make videos about things that I think of during the week, I have to write them down, because I will forget them. I will forget all about them. And that is such a difference from when I first started, like when I was getting hit and being traumatized, but my memory was still pretty good. And I was like, oh, these are all the things that I could just bring them out on the videos, everything I was thinking about. Cannot do it now. Cannot. My brain has been injured. Or I mean, I'm hoping that it's just interference. I'm hoping that they are interfering with my short-term memory and that it's not permanently damaged. That's what I'm hoping for. But it's a lot different when I can just speak about all the things that I experienced during the week. Now I forget, like I totally forgot. I have to write stuff down now. And I did, like, I know a lot of people say this. They're like, I used to have photographic memory. Like when I was a kid and into high school, I did have a photographic memory. Like I was tested for it and I could remember the details of everything I saw. Now it's just a mush of like, I can't remember what I did yesterday. I guess I can't, if I ate something really good that I like, I can remember that. But I'm at this point where and I think you guys are probably feeling the same. I'm just like, we need to change this. I got to do something about this. Come on, we're being murdered. This isn't something to discuss if it's a conspiracy theory or not. This isn't something to discuss like, hey, is it demons or is it technology? No. This is like something serious that's happening in all of our communities that somebody needs to do something about. I know I'm not doing enough. Like I'm making videos not all the time. I'm kind of slacking now. But we all need to be getting out there, just doing something, whatever you can think of. Everybody, not just, we're all targeted in this world. And the hierarchy of every country is corrupt and doing these things where they're acting like we're all cattle. So we all need to start standing up and going against this authority, or getting some policemen and FBI agents and people in these agencies to speak out against them and just redo the whole thing. Like a lot of people think that Trump may do that, but I don't know. Okay, let me read this article. I'm blathering about nothing. I'm not keeping informed about current events really, so I can't really talk about those. But hold on, let me get a drink of Mountain Dew DW. I'm sorry. I just saw some comments where people were like, yeah, people who drink Mountain Dew, they're doing this secret message like dew weapons, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm making this up as I go along, right? I don't know what I'm doing in my head, but I know what I'm doing in here. Sometimes I even trick myself. I've got to trick myself and do things that I like. I have a strategy that even I'm not aware of. All right. Okay, so this is from Mike. The biggest geniuses in tech are warning us all about killer robots. We should listen. Yes. And it's by Jack Smith IV, July 28, 2015. So this was in 2015. Some of the world's marquee visionaries, entrepreneurs, and researchers, Elon Musk, Stephen Hawking, Steve Wozniak, and Noam Chomsky included. Oh, excuse me, guys. Hold on. Joined together yesterday and signed an open letter warning of a possible artificial intelligence arms race. saying that without proper care and regulation, it will only be a matter of time until AI weapons and robots appear on the black market and in the hands of terrorists and other sinister players on the world stage. Like, okay, and let me just say in the beginning paragraph, that was a lot of propaganda. They're always saying all these neuro weapons and everything, they're going to fall into the hands of some backwater terrorist in the Middle East or some homegrown terrorist or whatever that kind of bullshit lie is. The fear here, the danger is the U.S. government, the DoD, and the military-industrial complex of the United States, as well as the military-industrial complexes of other countries, using these weapons. It's not some little terrorist groups getting these weapons. So I don't. They keep pushing that, and they're like, some terrorists are going to get all these weapons that we're developing. You know, like Lockheed Martin's developing these huge microwave weapons and microwave weapon systems and directed energy systems and neuro weapons, but some terrorists are going to develop this stuff. If these big countries weren't developing this advanced weaponry, terrorists there wouldn't even be a chance that they could get them. Now, because the military-industrial complexes of all these different countries are developing them, and then people can sell this stuff on the black market who work for our own governments, yeah, these terrorist groups can now get these weapons. So I just want to say that's a huge pile of propaganda right there. We don't need to be scared of terrorists. We need to be scared of our own principalities, our own evil principalities. That's the danger here. Not some little. And most of the terrorist groups, I'm going to go ahead and just say it now. I mean, because they demonetize all my videos, which I'm not worried about because I've made like $300. I'll tell you guys the truth. I made like $300 in 5 years. So I monetize my videos because I think maybe I can get like, you know, $300 or something and put it all together and maybe get that that transcranial brain stimulation thing or some kind of defense. But I'm telling you guys, just if you think that I'm making a lot of money from monetizing my videos, I'm not. And I only do that because I know you guys don't have to pay me money directly, and I can maybe use a little bit of that money to get, you know, work on some defenses or, you know, use it for something like that. But I, you know, lately I've seen that the Cuban any video I do about the Cuban embassy attack or the China consulate attack in the Wired magazine article, all of those were not fit for advertising. So YouTube. Oh, and I guess I'll do some videos about that. Just about that YouTube, the new YouTube censorship. But anything that they consider not I don't know who's making. I guess YouTube. And probably a lot of groups that work with the military-industrial complex and work, you know, all these little groups that are working on censorship, they work on and say what is a conspiracy theory. So 9/11 truth, anything about the Cuban incident and stuff, they don't want people talking about that, so they're going to demonetize people's videos about that. Probably stuff about the Illuminati. And they're just going to start demonetizing any kind of content like that. And what happens when they do that is the people like if y'all have y'all ever seen high impact videos, and now it's high impact vlogs. He puts a lot of truth out there, and he puts a lot of stuff that other people don't necessarily report. But those people are going to have less incentive to put out videos and grow their audience and stuff like that about the truth, because they're going to have to work jobs too, where earlier they could, you know, make a living from that. I've never been one of those people because I get, I get pretty good views, for being a targeted individual. But you have to, like, to make money on YouTube, I think you have to get like 10,000 or more views per video to make any kind of, and I think it's like 100,000 or more views per video to really make a living off of it. But it's interesting to see what videos they do demonetize, because I thought they were just demonetizing videos that I was like putting music on, because I wanted to kind of figure out what they're censoring. But it's just videos of me reading articles about the Cuban embassy attack. They are not fit for advertisers, you know. And then some of my videos are completely hidden. But it's just that's a new thing. And I'm going to do a video on that because there's new censorship coming in where YouTube is going to punish people who are putting any kind of information that the hierarchy deems conspiracy theory. You know, truther, conspiracy theory. They're putting labels. They're putting labels on looking for the truth. They're putting labels on telling the truth, putting ugly labels on it. So we live in that kind of society, guys. I think targeted individuals, we already know that. But let's see. Okay, so where was I? But yeah, I just some people. I don't know why I was talking about that. But like I had started, and now I guess I should have done a live stream because I'm just babbling. But yeah, I had started monetizing my videos when I started doing them. But then I think after like 2 years, I had monetized like most of my videos, and I saw that I made like $200. And now, and so then I stopped monetizing them because I'm like, well, I'm not going to make any money from this. But then I was like, well, I kind of want to see what they're demonetizing and why. And I also, it's something where y'all can just skip an ad or something like that. So I've justified it. I'm like, well, y'all can just skip an ad and it'll give me a little bit of money to maybe get something for defense. But I'm telling y'all, in 5 years, because I get like maybe on average I'll get like 300 to 500 views, like on average on all the videos. And so now I'm like it's like 300 or whatever, like $300 and I'll probably buy something defensive with it. But so just letting you know out there, if you are a targeted individual and you think you're going to make a ton of money from this, you got to get like hundreds of thousands of views and stuff like that. So that was never a thing for me. I don't know why I'm babbling about it, but it was just really surprising how the Cuban embassy attack videos were unsuitable for advertisement. So let me go on because I'm totally babbling. Dude, my brain just doesn't work. It's a good thing I'm handsome, right? Okay, you know those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's sure he can control the demon. Doesn't work out, and that's a good analogy for artificial intelligence. And I mean, and most of these weapon systems, what they're doing with it's the cat's out of the bag and just urinating and crapping all over the yard. You know, the demon is out, just killing families and stuff like that. A volunteer group called the Future of Life Institute released the letter along with robust research recommendations. The Institute admits that artificial intelligence is coming and research is ramping up. We just need to protect ourselves, the scientists say, from everything going terribly wrong. And it's already gone terribly wrong. Musk stands out from the list not just because of his recent adventures with Tesla Motors and SpaceX, but because the renowned innovator is almost comically afraid of artificial intelligence. He's called unfriendly artificial intelligence our biggest existential threat, and has compared AI research to demon summoning. You know those story where there's a guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's sure he can control the demon. Musk said at an MIT symposium in October. Doesn't work out. Elon Musk is a pretty smart guy. Some of the top research in AI and robotics is coming from the military for obvious reasons. Yep. But as the letter says, the implicit goals of the scientific community doesn't match the objectives of the people who want to exploit their work to make weapons of war. Just as most chemists and biologists have no interest in building chemical or biological weapons, most AI researchers have no interest in building AI weapons and do not want others to tarnish their field by doing so. But let me finish reading this. And do not want others to tarnish their field by doing so, potentially creating a major public backlash against AI that curtails its future societal benefits. Indeed, chemists and biologists have broadly supported international agreements that have successfully prohibited chemical and biological weapons. Supported international agreements that have successfully prohibited chemical and biological. No, it hasn't. Oh, I guess they say that at the summits that they have. Yeah, we just need to not use biological weapons, and then use it on the citizens anyway when they target us. Just as most physicists supported the treaties banning space-based nuclear weapons and blinding laser weapons. Um, so, so what I wanted to say is that's what happens. Like in a person that's like a brilliant computer programmer, or is a brilliant person that creates AI. They're going to create something that they don't want to make a weapon. I mean, we all know Robert Duncan's story. He was working on chatterbox technology and all this, and a lot of stuff that had to do with AI, and he didn't really know exactly what it was going to be used for. And then he found out that the military industrial complex, DARPA, and the DoD and the CIA, the DIA, were using it on citizens to drive them crazy. So that's what happens. Like these scientists that are really brilliant and come up with these ideas, they're not thinking about war. But then the military industrial complex either steals it from them, or gives them an offer they can't refuse. Hey, you come work for us, or we're going to kill your family. Or come work for us, or we're going to kill your family. And that's what happened. They go and they give all their research to them, and work for them because they're afraid for their lives. And that's like, I know that sounds like, oh yeah, like the military, they do. Like they threaten people and blackmail people, and they say you work for us, because they justify it as this technology, or this science, or this thing that can be weaponized is so important for our country, and and for control of our own people and for power, that it doesn't matter whose lives we destroy, whose families' lives we destroy. I mean, we know that because they're destroying my life. I'm like sitting here isolated and not knowing what to do. My brain being kind of disintegrated by microwaves. Yeah, these people suck. Yeah, and it's a bunch of people. They're all like kind of just toeing the line, chain of command. That's why I get the feeling from my attackers that it's just like there's a chain of command, and they sign up for this, and they've got a manager, and they don't even it doesn't even seem like, I've been like completely ignoring the V2K, and just trying to ignore everything emotionally that they're doing. And so now it's like just a conditioning that I'm trying to just ignore everything. And I noticed some of you guys who maybe your targeting just started, it seems impossible, because 2 years into this, or 2 years from when I knew this was going on, I was talking to the V2K all the time, trying to convince them to stop and all this stuff. And now I'm just like trying to ignore them, Not sure what point I was trying. Oh, but they're just like, I don't think they even have anything personally against me. They're just like, fuck this guy, we've got to do this. Like, I think even some of the people in this, this may not be true. They may just be laughing. But it seems like some of the guys and the girls on the shift work, they're actually kind of impressed how, like, I've gotten through this and, like, actually help people. And so, but they don't care. It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that he's a good person. It doesn't matter that, that he's trying to help people. This is our job. This is what we're doing, and we have to do it for our country. But then again, there's surveillance role play, and that's kind of what I've come to think about them. So they may just be acting that way. Who knows? Unfortunately, if there are going to be significant strides in robotics and artificial intelligence, they could very likely come out of a government project. All around the country, U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, has been pouring millions of dollars into robotics, from national defense weaponry development to college robotics competitions. That particular branch of the government has a pretty good history of tech innovation. To be clear, there is no widespread crisis of autonomous robots flying around killing everyone. But that's not true. There's not like autonomous robots flying around and killing everybody, but we have a grid set up of microwave towers and satellites that can hit anybody in the world. And right now, military industrial complexes of every country are hitting a certain percentage of the population, like streaming energy into their head and to integrate with, not to integrate, but to affect and stimulate their nervous system 24 hours a day. So I think, what happens is, the hierarchy has this thing where they'll say like, oh, well, you don't have drones, and there are drones, but it's like you don't have flying robots attacking everybody. But yeah, that's not the form it's taking. That's not the form that it's taking. The form that it's taking is like all this grid in 5G, and they can target anybody, and they do, and they target them 24 hours a day. So really, there are autonomous robots attacking and killing everybody. They're just not flying around. It's part of a grid system. So I just find that funny. Not funny, haha, but funny. Oh my gosh, But for scientists who don't hold the reins over lawmakers and admirals, the best hope they have is to inform the public, to outrage, provoke, and even scare, whatever it takes to impress upon all of us the real danger we face. Yeah, and that's what we need to do too. We need to provoke and outrage people. People need to be fed up with this, and they do. I think a lot of people are like, man, things are so screwed up in society. I'm just going to keep my head down and, just take care of my family and just hope that it's not coming for me. If you're trying to do that, that's what my family was trying to do. And now, like, my dad was almost murdered by directed energy weapons, and he healed from, like, impossible things. And then I'm sitting here being hit with directed energy weapons 24 hours a day. And I just thought, hey, man, that 9/11 stuff, and they're having that war over in the Middle East, that doesn't have anything to do with me. I mean, probably the military's doing the right thing. It's not ever going to come to me. And then it did. So we need to be very aware. Everybody needs to be very aware of what's happening into our world, because if there's something very corrupt, you think that it's just happening to a couple people and it'll never come to you. That's what I thought. I mean, that's what I thought my whole life, and that's not what happened. So we're responsible for so many things in this world, but there are points at which you have to take the initiative. Futurist luminary and author Wendell Wallach told Mike earlier this month about facing up to futuristic threats. We're not all going to, but informed citizens pressure us to take action before a real crisis. Anyone can sign the letter, and according to the lengthy list of names on its signatories page, which we put into an Excel sheet to count, at least 6,980 people have. Okay, so that's the first article I wanted to read to you. I think I'm gonna keep this short. I didn't mean to ramble on so much, but when I don't make a video for a while, I kind of do. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of keep this like under an hour, and I have a bunch of other articles that I want to read too, but I'll do a live stream with those. It's very interesting because one of the things that I was thinking about doing it today. It's a Wired article where they are, basically saying how the Air Force wants to use neuroweapons and is experimenting on neuroweapons. And in the article they say, oh, it's like somebody in a basement thought it up with a tinfoil hat. But then they say, yeah, it's real. And the Air Force is, researching neuroscience and researching neuroweapons, and they're going to use this in war. And it's like it was in 2010 that Wired was studying what the Air Force was saying. Yeah, we are researching and developing neuroweapons and directed energy weapons and all this stuff. And then you see the article that Wired wrote in, 2016, about targeted individuals that are like, hey, we're being hit with something. It's messing with our minds. It's messing with our nervous systems. It's painful. It's torture. And Wired's like, oh, and they're crazy, and they're in this echo chamber. So it's weird how in 2010, and probably Wired has done a lot of articles about nanotechnology and neuroweapons and what the DoD is working on. But then when people come along and say, "Hey, we're being hit with some of this stuff," they're like, "Oh," and they're crazy. It's just it's weird, and people won't connect it because there's some kind of weird, and there's a lot of mind control just in our daily lives. Not like the type that we're going through, like directed energy hitting your brain and remote neural, like actually stimulating or interfering with certain parts of your brain. But there's, mind control with conditioning on television, with conditioning in the newspapers, with conditioning in just social structures, like just how people go out, and if you talk about this, you're kind of labeled crazy, and if you're looking into truth, you're a truther, and if you are looking into 9/11 and really want to get the truth about that, you're a conspiracy theorist. If you don't like Zionism, you're anti-Semitic. That's a big one that I try and kind of, I want to deal with just this issue, but there's a lot of things that I've been looking into where it's like there's Israeli dual citizenship. Israel's not coming out with 5G. Israel's maybe selling some of the technology that we give them to Russia and China, and it's like these are political issues from countries and and things that people do, evil things that people believe, not genetics. So if somebody's like speaking out against Zionism and our relationship with Israel, they're labeled anti-Semitic now, even if they don't say, "Hey, Jews," because like everybody knows not all Jews are bad. Everybody knows. It's like me saying like, "Hey, I hate Masons," and somebody going, "You hate white people?" No, I hate Masons. They're mostly all white, the ones, not the Prince Hall Lodge, but it's like we are against evil thoughts, evil philosophies, evil principalities. So, but that's a huge one, because there's a lot of corruption and a lot of weird stuff where it's like we are fighting Israel's wars. Israel has got this; they're number 2 in this technology, and I'm not going to go into that on this video. But it's like if you talk about watch, just for me talking and saying Israel, my whole video today could be complete. It's definitely going to be demonetized, but they might actually make it not visible. I mean, they're cutting down on any of that, and even if it's not anti-Semitic and it's about politics. So the way that our society is working is if you're talking about something that the powers that, because Voltaire said, to find out who's running your society, find out who you can't criticize, find out what you can't talk about, and that's usually who's in power. So we can't talk about the DOD or anything. They're perfect. The American government is perfect. If you do, you're a truther or a conspiracy theorist. If you say anything about 9/11, you're a conspiracy theorist or a truther. And that's a conditioning in our society. I think a lot of people are going around that, and there's so many people that are looking for the truth that they're like, that's stupid, and only the mainstream news really talks that way. So I think we're making some headway there. But yeah, okay, let me go to the next article. I didn't want to get too off on subject, but there's just a lot of ways that people who are trying to look into the truth, they're stopped, they're labeled, and a lot of mind control that's not like somebody shooting directed energy at your head and doing remote neural manipulation, but the things like NLP from TV, and also subliminal messaging, TV and movies, conditioning from movies. I mean, so much stuff. I mean, I've gone into some of it on this channel, but I don't think you can really do. I mean, you'd have to make a whole series of videos about all the different types of mind control. And so we need to get upset at it, and we need to get other people upset about it, because human beings, these people in the hierarchy have been studying human beings and the way that they think for a long time. Now, with targeted individuals, they're doing something very, very directly, to our nervous systems and to our brains. But with other people, who are not being specifically directly targeted, they know how to manipulate and to make them feel like they need to follow the herd and they need to be compliant and things like that. And the deceit that is involved in that, and hey, we just need to control the public and not let them be free and make them think that they're free, that's even more dangerous, because it's like, and that's what they've learned to do. These evil people in the hierarchy that really want to control the population, they're like, let's make them think they're free, because then they're less of a danger. So they'll experiment on a certain percentage of the population, They'll kill a certain percentage of the population. They'll go fight wars against people that are in an area that's kind of remote, and then not report some things on it so that they can get away with those wars. I talked to I'm kind of rambling on here. I might not go through this whole article, but I've told y'all before. I talked to that ex-marine, and he said that there were like wars going on in the Philippines during like after 9/11, maybe not like 2001, but like 2008, around 2008, 2006, 2008. There was stuff going on in the Philippines that was never reported. Only the stuff that the mainstream media, which is part of the military-industrial complex, only the stuff that they want people to know is going to be reported, and the people that they're killing in the wars that are going on with all these countries. Okay, so AI and neuroscience. I would say a vicious circle. This article says a virtuous circle. I would say a vicious circle. That's quite why I didn't like this article when I first saw it, because it says a virtuous circle. So I guess they're trying to say, hey, the AI and neuroscience are just, it's like peas and carrots. It's like peanut butter and jelly. They go together so well. And that's the problem, because a lot of the stuff that is going on with us, like the experimentation, the torture to us, is studying the human mind. And I know that people are saying, oh, they're done with that. They've studied the human mind. They know that. But they're specifically studying parts of the human brain so that they can make better artificial intelligence. And they're also using like AI with the directed energy weapon remote platforms, because they're trying to develop that more. So there's so many angles, like with what they're doing, and so much, like if whatever country, I think a lot of people say this, but like whatever country, and I don't know if that's really true. That could be a lie for the people that know, but it's like our DoD would say whatever country comes out on top with neuro weapons is going to basically rule the world, is going to be the strongest. I really think there's more cooperation. There's more of a worldwide cooperation with this, and then principalities above our governments, where they're going to kind of control the playing board. So it really doesn't matter. I think all these countries with military-industrial complexes with this principality, the bigger principalities over them, they're going to pretty much be evenly matched, so they can more evenly destroy their own populations and kind of control their own populations how they want. But our government would say, or the DoD would say, whoever can master neuro weapons and directed energy weapon systems will be the winner of any kind of upcoming wars. Will get to do whatever they want. So AI, neuroscience, a virtuous circle. I say a vicious circle. Recent progress in AI has been remarkable. Artificial systems now outperform expert humans at Atari video games, the ancient board game Go, and high-stakes matches of heads-up poker. They can also produce handwriting and speech indistinguishable from those of humans, translate between multiple languages, and even reformat your holiday snaps in the style of Van Gogh masterpieces. These advances are attributed to several factors, including the application of new statistical approaches and the increased processing power of computers. But in a recent perspective in the journal I guess it's called Neuron, we argue that one often overlooked contribution is the use of ideas from experimental and theoretical neuroscience. Experimental and theoretical. Psychology and neuroscience have played a key role in the history of AI. Founding figures such as Donald Hebb, Warren McCulloch, Marvin Minsky, and Jeff Hinton were all originally motivated by a desire to understand how the brain works. In fact, throughout the late 20th century, much of the key work developing neural networks took place not in mathematics or physics labs, but in psychology and neurophysiology departments. With so much at stake, the need for the field of neuroscience and AI to come together is now more urgent than ever before. So this is kind of the propaganda on that side, saying man, guys, and inventors and scientists, we need to think about neuroscience and the brain and how it fits in with AI, because how the human brain works, we're going to want to give AI similar kind of functions, creative power, imagination, and things like that. So you can kind of see how that really connects to us in our situation, where they're basically mind mapping us. They're mapping the functions of our brain while they're doing things with AI, with this remote platform with the AI on it, and it's learning. This AI is learning how humans react to certain things, how the brain reacts to certain stimuluses, and it can become more like that. It can react like a human being would react, and with a little bit of creativeness or whatever. It's very scary. I mean, it's very if this is what they're doing, like we're target individuals and they've got directed energy weapons that can interface with the brain and the nervous system, and they're just torturing people forever, like forever. Just we're not going to stop until society stops us. Then what are they going to do if they get an AI that's so powerful? I don't know. I mean, it's just like they always do evil with these huge things that could be great for humanity, and they decide to torture. I mean, think about it, with directed energy, with something that can interface with the brain and the nervous system. They've chosen to torture innocent citizens and try and make them look bad so they can get them into trouble and feed a surveillance state, instead of like doing amazing things. Like you could, but now that's off the table. Like for me, that's off the table. We need to destroy this technology. Human beings are not ready for this and will not be ready for any of this technology for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, if even that. I say with the military industrial complex in these countries the way they are, we should, if humanity knew it was good for us, we would destroy all of these AI systems and all of these weapon systems. I mean, I know that's not going to happen. Like, they're going to continue to do whatever they want. I think some of this stuff can be stopped in the public. I think that then they'll go on to something else. I do think that we can stop this program with enough public awareness, but then they're gonna find some other technology or something and do. I don't think that we can stop the corruption. I guess let's not. I don't want to be hopeless. We can make the world better. We can try and make the world better, and there are miracle summits. So I'm going to stop that train of thought. That train of thought derailed, and keep going. So, hold on one second. Getting really babbly in this video. I always get really babbly. I just start. It's good. I mean, I've been talking to some of my TI friends, and we talk about stuff, and so I'm not completely isolated. Haven't been going to the conference calls for a while. I don't know why. It's just like I like the conference calls. I like the people on them, and it's not some specific thing, but I'm just like I'm not going to them lately. Like I'll see that it's like the other night it was like 7, and Ella's call comes on at like 8, and I was just like, man, I just don't want to. But I did listen to some of her calls on YouTube. I listened to her call with the guy who was in military electronics, and he was kind of making a metaphor of how there was coaches and players and teams and stuff. I didn't really understand the metaphor, but I listened to that one, which was a good show. I guess I need to get back in there and maybe bring some of this information back on the conference calls. But I think that I reach more people like this, and I can just put the concrete information out and let people come to it as they want, and then maybe do live streams where people who really resonate with what I'm saying, they can come to live streams. So it's just a lot more. It's not more pleasurable for me, because none of this is great. I guess it's just something I feel more comfortable with at the time. I guess that's the honest thing. I just feel more comfortable making videos, and I need to kind of take a breather and step back. But there's a lot of people on the calls that I really miss. I need to at least call them, stay in touch. Okay, so wait 1 second, I forgot. Okay, at DeepMind, we argue that despite rapid progress in both fields, researchers should not lose sight of this vision. We urge researchers in neuroscience and AI to find a common language, allowing a free flow of knowledge that will allow continued progress on both fronts. I don't know what DeepMind is. DeepMind must be some kind of organization that's trying to make people aware that neuroscience and AI need to come together and they need to do more projects with this stuff. I guess I need to look into DeepMind. We believe that drawing inspiration from neuroscience and AI research is important for two reasons. First, neuroscience can help validate AI techniques that already exist. Put simply, if we discover one of our artificial algorithms mimics a function within the brain, it suggests our approach may be on the right track. And that's one of the angles, guys. That's one of the angles with remote neural monitoring and remote neural manipulation. That is one of the angles. There's like thousands of different angles for what they're doing with this research. But one of them is to be like, hey, the brain works this way when it's stimulated and working with this. And we're reading it exactly. And so we'll know that we can put this function in programming and AI. It goes that deep. I mean, it gets that complicated of what they're doing. And that's why when targeted individuals, when somebody's being attacked by this stuff, is trying to explain this and saying, oh, it's just this, or it's just this, it doesn't make any sense because it's a bunch of different things. It's like this whole big system. And, and that's one thing that I have learned through all this is that when the hierarchy wants to hide something, it makes it really complicated. When the hierarchy wants to, let's say, manipulate money, what do? They get Wall Street, they get the stock market stuff. And who can understand that stuff? People who are really smart are really on the end, but the stock market's really complicated, how market flows and everything like that. But when they want to manipulate something, they make it super complicated. So the regular person has a hard time understanding it. That's kind of a weird metaphor, but I think y'all understand that. Y'all get me on that one. So it suggests our approach may be on the right track. Second, neuroscience can provide a rich source of inspiration for new types of algorithms and architectures to employ when building artificial brains. Traditional approaches to AI have historically been dominated by logic-based methods and theoretical mathematical models. We argue that neuroscience can complement these by identifying classes of biological computation that may be critical to cognitive function. Take one recent example of a seminal finding in neuroscience, the discovery of offline experience replay. I have no idea what that means. During sleep or quiet resting, biological brains replay temporal patterns of neuronal activity that were produced in an earlier active period. For example, when rats run through a maze, place cells activate as the animal moves around. During rest, the same sequence of neuronal activity is observed, as if the rats were mentally reimagining their past movements and using them to optimize future behavior. In fact, it has been shown that interfering with replay impairs performance when they later perform the same tasks. Oh my gosh, what that just made me think of, how like during our sleep we're targeted. Like in the remote neural manipulation is worse for me when I'm asleep. If I didn't use Dave Case's CD, I would have gone insane already. But it seems like things that I always do get harder and harder, and that it's like they are like our attackers are messing with what our brain is doing, what the brain is supposed to do when we sleep, when we rest. They're interfering with that and then making it cognitively more difficult for us to do the same tasks. Wow. Okay. that this replay was a key element of DQN, a general purpose agent that is able to continually adapt its behavior to new environments. At first glance, it might seem counterintuitive to build an artificial agent that needs to sleep. After all, they are supposed to grind away at the computational problem long after their programmers have gone to bed. But this principle was a key part of our DeepQ network, an algorithm that learned to master a diverse range of Atari 2600 games to superhuman level with only the raw pixels and score as inputs. DQN mimics experience replay by storing a subset of training data that it reviews offline, allowing it to learn anew from successes or failures that occurred in the past. Successes like this give us confidence that neuroscience is already an important source of ideas for AI, but looking forward, we believe it will become indispensable in helping us to tackle unsolved questions, such as those concerning efficient learning, understanding of the physical world, and imagination. Imagination is a hugely important function for humans and animals, allowing us to plan for future scenarios without taking action, something that may come at a cost. Consider a simple example such as planning a holiday. In order to do this, we leverage our knowledge or model of the world and use it to project forward in time, evaluating future states and allowing us to calculate the route we need to take or what clothes to pack for sunny weather. Strategy, which now in my life, I'm not even aware of my strategy because my brain don't work no more. So what I do is I'm like, okay, heart, okay, spirit, do your thing, and then like months later after I've been doing a bunch of stuff, I'm like, oh, that's why I was doing that. That's why I was doing that. And it's incredible. And I'm like, wow. I'm joking around with you guys. I do kind of have to do that sometimes because like your attackers know what you're gonna do, and so I think I've kind of conditioned myself into being real sneaky and not even let myself know that I'm gonna do something. All right, I'll stop. I want to get through this article. Cutting edge research in human neuroscience is starting to unveil the computational and systems mechanisms that underpin this kind of thinking, but much of this new understanding has yet to be incorporated into artificial models. See, organic and digital, transhumanism, organic, digital, transhumanism. I hate the world. Like, I hate living. It's like there's so many great advancements, and like I'll play video games, and they're so cool. It's like, oh man, I got like an arcade in my house, which was one of the things that I wanted when I was a kid. I played that game X-Men in the arcade, and I asked my parents, or Santa Claus, I asked Santa Claus to bring it to me one Christmas, and he didn't. And I was so upset, and now I like having better video games that I could ever imagine, and things are so convenient sometimes, the supermarket and getting food, and you can order food, and Uber driving. There's so many conveniences, but then there's this other side to it. There's this other very, very dark side that the hierarchy. That's the only. I mean, the only thing to encompass it all. It's a cabal hierarchy. People who are in control of a lot of this technology. They've decided they can sacrifice people. That a lot of these technological advances and weapons advances, they have justified murdering so many families. And they've been doing it for a while. So then you start looking around at all these conveniences that you thought were so cool, and you're like, it's not worth human beings' lives. It's not worth any human beings' lives. I'd rather be, scratching two sticks together and people be safe and not evil, and there not be so much deceit in our world. I guess that's a real simplified way of looking at it. Okay, another key challenge in contemporary AI research is known as transfer learning. To be able to deal effectively with novel situations, artificial agents need the ability to build on existing knowledge to make sensible decisions. Humans are already good at this. An individual who can drive a car, use a laptop, or chair a meeting are usually able to cope even when confronted by an unfamiliar vehicle, operating system, or social situation. Researchers are now starting to take the first steps towards understanding how this might be possible in artificial systems. For example, a new class of network architecture known as progressive network can use knowledge learned in one video game to learn another. The same architecture has also been shown to transfer knowledge from a simulated robotic arm to a real-world arm, massively reducing the training time. Intriguingly, these networks bear some similarities to models of sequential task learning in humans. These tantalizing links suggest that there are great opportunities for future AI research to learn from work in neuroscience. But this exchange of knowledge cannot be a one-way street. Neuroscience can also benefit from AI research. Take the idea of reinforcement learning, one of the central approaches in contemporary AI research. Although the original idea came from theories of animal learning and psychology, it was developed and elaborated by machine learning researchers. These later ideas fed back into neuroscience to help us understand neurophysiological phenomena such as the firing properties of dopamine neurons in the mammalian basal ganglia. I kind of understand what I'm reading, but just a little bit. This back and forth is essential if both fields are to continue to build on each other's insights, creating a vicious circle. I say vicious, they say virtuous. Virtuous circle whereby AI researchers use ideas from neuroscience to build new technology. And neuroscientists learn from the behavior of artificial agents to better interpret biological brains. Indeed, this cycle will likely accelerate thanks to recent advances such as optogenetics that allow us to precisely measure and manipulate brain activity. And that's what they're doing remotely to targeted individuals. And this research and this experimentation on us is going into the field of making better AI. That's just the general thing that I want to get across in this video, how dangerous it is and how it will have some, because they are getting, people who think that robot, what was that robot's name? Let me look up that. Oh gosh, I don't want to get into all that, but like she'd have measured responses, and it was kind of silly. They were okay responses, but it was like, oh, that's how AI is, But people who are concerned about AI, what you need to know is that there's experimentation with directed energy weapons and neuroweapons and things like that to monitor brains, to mess with brains and nervous systems, to chop people up, with microwaves, and that's just one angle. That's just one angle of our targeting. So I'm not saying, oh, that's it. That's why they're doing this targeting. But it's a big angle. It's a big angle of learning how the brain works exactly and ripping up our lives so that they can kind of say, oh, well, that's how a brain works, and we're going to add that in what we've learned in mapping the brain to map some artificial intelligences, which they've already, which are already very, very advanced. So where was I? To better interpret, neuroscience learn from behavior of artificial agents to better interpret biological brains. Indeed, this cycle will likely accelerate thanks to recent advances such as optogenetics. Okay, I read that already. Memory. Hello, McFly. You better make like a tree and get out of here. I love that line. Back to the Future. Okay. That allow us to precisely measure and manipulate brain activity, yielding vast quantities of data that can be analyzed with tools from machine learning. We therefore believe distilling intelligence into algorithms and comparing them to the human brain is now vital. We therefore believe distilling intelligence into algorithms and comparing them to the human brain is now vital. Not only could it bolster our quest to develop AI, a tool that we hope will create new knowledge and push forward scientific discovery, but may also allow us to better understand what's going on inside our own heads. That could shed light on some of the most enduring mysteries in neuroscience, such as the nature of creativity, dreams, and perhaps one day even consciousness. With so much at stake, the need for the field of neuroscience and AI to come together is now more urgent than ever before. And I mean, they are, because they're doing some neuroscience with neuroweapons, digging into people's brains to see how they work and mapping the human brain from those signals. A bunch of people, millions all over the world. There are people say, like, where are all the TIs, right? Like, I think that a lot of people are in a positive program. Like, I think as many people who are being hurt, like me and like you guys watching this video, there's a positive program where they're like actually making people smarter with this stuff and making them feel better. Those people aren't going to come forward. And then the people who like have jobs and stuff, they're so scared to talk. Most of the people don't even know that it's happening to them. They think that they're going insane. I think that we take it for granted that we figured it out, but I think more people than have figured it out have not figured it out, and attribute it to getting older or whatever. Because my parents have been hit with directed energy weapons, and they're like, "Well, we're just getting older," and my dad's brain injury, oh, it just happened. So I think also there are tons of people who know that it's happening to them, but they are so scared to come out. They're so terrified that they will be called crazy and their life will be over. I think we take that. I think people who make these YouTube videos and speak out in comments and go to conference calls, we take that for granted. But that's real bravery to see something that might make you look crazy. And I got to give myself a little bit of credit because I didn't give an F when I figured out how bad this was and everything. I started getting on YouTube and I did not give an F what people thought about me. So I'm going to pat myself on the back, but I also want to pat like other people, who have done that. I think we take it for granted how courageous that is. And I want to say to people who, it's changing. This is becoming, people understand it more. People understand it more, and they're not so quick to call people crazy anymore. So you need to understand, if you are very scared of how you're going to be perceived in society, you need to put that behind, because people who know about this have to speak out, because it can be a very dark future. The future does look grim. Like, I've been a very hopeful person for my whole life and believed in miracles and believed that the smarter that we got and the more technology, the more convenient things were going to be, that the more civilized people were going to be. And that is not true. There are some really evil people who have taken the reins financially, technologically, and the future doesn't look too great unless a bunch of people in the public start giving a crap and start like saying, hey, we can do something about this. That's my mom. All right, guys. So I think I blabbed on a long time. Should have just done a live stream. I always say that. But I'll do a live stream because I got some other articles that I want to go through. I can't remember the AI that I'm talking about, but y'all know it's the one, like, you could see through her head, and I wanted to show some things on that, but I think I'm going to go ahead and end it there. That article, even though it was important, is very boring, but it's important information that we need to know, that the hierarchy, the military-industrial complex they're in a race to make I even stronger and better, so that they can, and it's all about controlling weapons. That's what we have to understand. Like, all this, the top dog, the top reason for all these technologies and advancements right now are controlling weapons. More weapons for control, and selling weapons and everything like that. No matter how horrible that is, and it's just unthinkable, that's the truth. The highest, like, purpose for all of our advancements in human society right now are being absorbed into the military complex, and they say, what can we make? What kind of weapons can we make to control people and to gain the upper hand? Asymmetric warfare, to control everything, to control the whole world. Sorry, and there's still hope. There's still hope. There's still hope, and we got to just keep speaking out. And there's definitely hope. There's definitely hope if you have faith. So I'm going to hang on to my faith. I know a lot of you guys are too. Please, Jesus, just, give us strength and get people's, just, and this really bothers me, and y'all might hear me complaining about it a little bit more, because I am a Christian, and then I hear some Christians are like, it's spiritual warfare, and there's demons all over nowadays, and the demons are taking over people, and we really need to get on the ball, guys. Like Christians, I call you to look at reality. We're dealing with problems here where it's not just good enough to pray to Jesus Christ to make the demons go away in your life and then not help people, because these are real weapons and real problems in our society. And I think I see some of those videos where and a lot of people make them, and they're about and I think they're important. Don't get me wrong, but they're important. But they're about the satanic Illuminati, and there's and there's demons everywhere, and then get tons of views. They get tons of views, and YouTube always recommends them to me and recommends them, and I kind of see that as like they're letting that information get out there, the hierarchy, because they want these evil things in our society, especially by Christians, to be regarded as mystified. It's magic, it's demons, they can do anything. These are real problems, guys, that we can actually deal with, that there are defensive things to deal with. There's things that we can prove to people that they're going on. I'm not even going to go into there's spiritual warfare too. And I guess that's all. I just want to say this to Christians. This is stuff that can be dealt with, and it's real stuff. And I think that's one thing, that's one psyop in society, and I really believe this, guys. Leave a comment if you don't think so. I think part of the psyop for Christians nowadays is making them just like, hey, this is all demon manifestations, because then we're not going to deal with the real problem. A Christian who's like, oh, well, that's just demons taking over somebody's body or something like that. I pray to Jesus, and Jesus is going to have to remove the demons from that person. I know it just really bothers me. I'm talking about it too much. I'm going to go ahead and still put this video out. It really bothers me, and it really makes me feel like propaganda in society is crippling Christians with just like, hey, everything's demons, and not looking into the evil people behind this, the spiritual wickedness, of course, but real people putting this stuff in motion, real technology, real social structures that spiritual wickedness is behind. But I just feel like that is such a it's such a thing to keep Christians from acting, because it's like, hey, if it's just demon activity, not much I can do but just pray to Jesus about it, when we can do a lot more. And God and Jesus calling us to do a lot more, to help people, to know the reality of situations, to help people. And it really bothers me, guys. So sorry if it offends anybody, or I'm talking about it too much. But just like the other day when I was just like, are we really having a discussion of whether this is like ethereal demons or if it's technology that's doing this? It bothers me, and I'm a Christian. Like so you see how much it bothered me. The video wasn't even about that, and I had to say it. But all right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to do a live stream soon. I think I'm just going to start doing live streams because I always ramble on. And I'll work on that, but the videos help me to get all this stuff out, All right, guys, I love y'all, and I hope you're feeling a lot of comfort. I'm going to be working on more, the transcranial stimulation, and seeing if I can get a good one. I've been kind of putting it off because I just don't want to spend that much money, but I'm going to get on that. And comment below, guys, if you don't agree with me about something, or you have something else you want to say, because I know a lot of people, they're really into like this being about spiritual warfare and stuff, and I am too. There's a lot of spiritual wickedness behind it, But when we're talking about stuff that's so obvious and just as simple as this phone, it's technology. We don't need to mystify it, because when you need to demystify things. You mystify them, they become bigger, and you can't do anything about it. Like it's like, oh, okay, demons, and they'll always be around, and they'll do all this stuff or whatever. We need to be breaking things down and demystify them. That's what God wants us to do, so that we can help people more. Sorry about that rant, but it really gets to me. That gets to me so much. I guess I'm showing a weakness here for my attackers, or I'll probably have some community placed agents leaving comments on my YouTube channel, like saying how I'm wicked because I'm saying that this is actually technology. All right, guys, I'm gonna stop blabbing. I love y'all. I may make do a live stream tonight. I'm not feeling too bad. I feel like I can talk. Sometimes they hit my jaw. They pulse my jaw where I can only talk for limited amounts of time. But I'm feeling like I have, some energy. I got some, it may actually be because the last type of kratom I got was white vein. And it usually the white vein kratom makes me feel less depressed. And I had been getting all these other kinds, like I get red too, but I've been trying like some yellow vein and all these other kinds, and I just got some white vein, and I feel a little bit more up. Like I feel a little bit more like I can think better, and I'm a little bit not as depressed. So check out, guys who take kratom to reduce the pain. Try some white vein. Let's see. I order it from like CBD kratom now, and it's really expensive, so I have to kind of not take so much, which is hard. It's white Indo and white Bantu. I feel a little bit more mental energy. I do, because you can even see it in this video. I was smiling a little bit more, and it's hard for me to be glowing and just like, hey, yeah, we have a lot of hope ahead of us, because I see how dark society has gotten, and how slow this process of stopping a genocide, an electronic genocide, how hard that's been. How is that hard? How is it hard for people to say, hey, this is going on, let's stop people from being murdered? Oh wait, okay, it's the DOD and they have a lot of power, so I'm going to put my head down and just hopefully it goes away. I think we should be way past that. People who are being directly attacked, do something even if it's just making a YouTube video. Because there are people doing a lot more than me, like Ella and Dr. Horton and Romola and Midge with Targeted Justice, and they're trying to get court cases together. The stuff I'm doing is I'm trying to do some groundwork and make people aware, make a lot of us kind of aware and on the same page of what the problems are and the angles are of this. And so many people out there's so many people that I could name who are just doing awesome and speaking out about this. And you guys keep going. I love y'all. Let's just not give up. All right, and I'll see y'all. I'll make a live stream soon, guys. I promise. And maybe I'll say, hey, I want to do a live stream, and then I'll maybe plan it for like 2 hours after that, so maybe more people can come. I don't know. I like doing things spontaneously, so maybe 30 minutes before or something like that. All right, guys. I love y'all. God bless you all. I hope you're finding some peace and relaxation, doing something that you love. Try and get some external stimuluses like movies or, reading or, video games for me. All right, I'll stop babbling, guys, and I'll do a live stream shortly. Maybe not today, but I have some other articles that I want to go through. And definitely, guys, if you do like my content and you want to help these videos to maybe get up there. I don't know how that's going to work with YouTube censorship, because it feels like targeted individuals are a thing that they're going to say is conspiracy. And they may, really cut off a lot of stuff about posting our videos and recommending them. But leave a like, leave a like and subscribe. Definitely, if you're a targeted individual, subscribe so you can know when I'm doing live streams and you can come to them and put input into them. All right, guys, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all on the next one.